October 13th, 2013. Guys, we're looking at the Eastern Pacific on a satellite image. We've got a Category 4 Typhoon. It's the same as a Category 4 hurricane. It's got wind gust up to 160 miles an hour, wind speeds at 135. Notice it's today's date. The track of this concerns me because we've seen a couple of smaller storms come over Fukushima this year, but this one is larger. Now, it's going into cooler waters before it gets into Japan, and it may weaken some, but right now it's a Category 4. You can see one going into Thailand. That's a Cat 2 right now. The Cat 4 is going to curve. It's going to go north. It's going to skate off the coast of Russia, go south of the Aleutian Islands, and the remnants of it will come into the Canada and the northwest USA from California all the way up the coast there. And it's important because the headlines at Fukushima are not good on the amount of leaking radiation. These images are polar satellite images, and these are infrared. I went back 48 hours. There's Japan. There's that tropical depression, and you see the track, guys, that came right over the Aleutian Islands and ended up down in through the northwestern United States and across the middle of the United States and swept out across the Great Lakes. That picked up the radiation that was there at this time. But this Cat 4, it has a double problem. Not only the radiation field that it's going to pick up both water and air and move our way, but the infrastructure there is so damaged that this could go ahead and just about wipe it out, guys. It depends on how strong it gets between now and then. Check that out. This is in changing it into infrared. Again, you can see as it starts. This is a storm that came in from 48 hours ago. And it goes up to current time, and it tracked right over Fukushima, across Kamchatka, Russia, across the Aleutians. They're calling it Typhoon Wiffle, guys. It's a 135 mile an hour wind speed with gusts up to 160. Notice the timestamp. This was at 1 p.m. today's sync. Here's the headlines from Fukushima today. Doctors warn about radioactive substances from Fukushima coming to West Coast in 2014. As that's just a few months away, consider keeping kids away from the beach, perhaps pregnant women. This is not putting into account this hurricane. Fukushima radiation worse than feared, government and TEPCO cover-ups. Worst case scenario at Fukushima now is that the nuclear rods have melted and went through the reactor floors. Contamination is impacting the rest of the world. Likely the entire Pacific will be affected. All of Japan at risk of food and water having serious contamination from Fukushima now and into the future. Land is contaminated up to 250 kilometers from the plant, guys. And the doctors in California concerned about eating the fish. That's been going on for several months. I wouldn't touch one if I were you. Surging radiation levels in sea around Fukushima plant, high-density strontium. Here we go into radiation levels 100 times higher than Fukushima, reported 50 days after the quake. Geiger counter off the scale at the train station 60 kilometers from the plant. Now, guys, here's the latest Ison images. This is a close-up on them. It's still showing the 8 objects, and I'm not counting the smallest one in the back. Now, also, if you'll notice on the outer edges of the coma, it's showing, it's just like on an airplane wing when you see that airflow across it. If there's something wrong with that wing, you're going to see that disturbance, and we're getting that around each object inside this coma. Now, a lot of people think that this object is intact. It's not, but you see that glare? That's what you normally see. And if you're not able to use the right software to break that down, you can't do it. It will look like one solid teardrop on hundreds of images. But again, it takes work. You've got to go inside this and take a look at it. Again, it's got a lot to do with your exposure and your temperature. Take a look at this as we go through it. Now, in this particular image, it looks like to me that we're still getting the side jetting from the objects that are near to the edge of the coma, on the inside coma. See that? And we were seeing it a few days ago on the 2 side objects. Now, that main object in the middle is a concern to me because it's not there. Is the comet broke? Is it Breaking apart, remember in the video last night off to the right, it seemed like there was something that either moved out of the main coma, it had broken a part of it. Wasn't sure about that, but there's not that main central object between the two that we normally see in the front. You'll see the two objects there, the main section of it in the center that's not showing. We're seeing that front section. Now here, as I zoom this up, this is a different image, both from earlier tonight, last night. Let me pull this up. Breaking this down, you can still see multiple objects even at this view if you look at this close enough. It's a heads up. We're going to watch it as it comes in. We still need one space-based picture to update with. Heads up.